Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom to you Hebrew Israelites. Gotta give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, who teach well. And the sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing the truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the outwalk for our listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming in for another lesson of truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is an update on wars and rumors of wars. Now, the Trump talking about they're going to make a surprise strike on Russia. So these Edomites don't understand these scriptures, man, because according to the scriptures, Russia will destroy North America, and then the allies of North America, or used to be allies, will side with Putin, man. Okay, they're going to side with Russia, and you see that happening now. So this is just more edification, man, that war is coming, man. War is near. War is in the backyard of North America, so to speak.
Welcome back again, everyone. It's Dina Calmetta here with CWW7 News, and for today's broadcast, I do have some updates I'd like to bring to you in regards to some events that have occurred so far this week. And I'd like to take you to this first report in regards to the United States. Sputnik News is reporting that a United States spy plane was spotted snooping near the Russian maritime border in the Black Sea. Wednesday's flight was the third time a U.S. spy aircraft was spotted near Russia's southern borders in less than 24 hours. The large aircraft, based in Greece, made its way into the Black Sea that morning, coasting along the Russian maritime border before making its way around the Crimean Peninsula. The plane was the third U.S. aircraft to be spotted, carrying out reconnaissance operations around the southern border in less than a day's time. On Tuesday afternoon, a USAF RQ-4B-40 Global Hawk took off from the base in Sicily, Italy, flying near Russia's border in Crimea. The drone was itself joined by a P-8A Poseidon patrol plane, which made several loops around the western Crimea. The United States and NATO have substantially increased their reconnaissance operations along Russia's borders in the Black Sea and Baltic Seas, as well as around Russian military facilities in Syria in recent years. Over the past year alone, the Russian military's reconnaissance forces tracked roughly 3,000 foreign combat aircraft, including about 1,000 of them spy planes and reconnaissance drones.
Now, North America talks all this big racket, man. Like they so superior to all the other countries. What you spying on Russia for? What does it matter? If you say you got weapons of mass destruction that can destroy any nation, why would you care about spying on other nations, man? This shows you how weak these North American Edomites is, man, and their military. They say they got the biggest military on the planet. Obviously, they don't, man. Because why would you be spying on Russia, man? If you got weapons, if your missile defense systems is upgraded far beyond Russia and China and North Korea, why would you be spying on these people, man? You Edomites, you North American Edomites, these Edomites think they control the planet, man. Okay? That's the pride of you devils, man. Like Obadiah say, the pride of your heart have deceived you. Now these Edomites is spying on other countries for what? If your missile defense system is that upgraded, why would you spy? You shouldn't need to spy. Okay? When you got a man that got all these weapons, they don't worry about nothing, man. Okay, they just sit back and wait and be ready. But you got North America trying to spy so they can strike first. Talking about they're going to shoot the missiles of Russia and China and North Korea while they still sitting in the silo. Come on, man. That's showing you that they are terrified, man. They scared. They don't know what to do, man.
flying near Russia's maritime and land border. Over the same period, Russian planes were scrambled repeatedly to intercept some of these aircraft and force them to change course. Earlier this month, Crimean lawmakers urged Washington to stop spying on the peninsula, saying that the regular flights of the U.S. reconnaissance aircraft near Crimea's borders were a cause for concern. And with all of that on the table, RT News is reporting the Russian military has stated that the United States may be plotting a preemptive strike on the nuclear arsenals of Russia and China, citing the revival of the 1980 Star Wars program and ever-growing U.S. missile defense in Europe as evidence. The analysis of the probable actions of Washington shows that Americans are seeking to achieve strategic superiority through the so-called on-start interception doctrine. Under such a plan, the U.S. would seek to destroy the overwhelming majority of their adversaries' missiles, while the munitions are still sitting in their silos. The Russian officials stated that Washington's intentions to create a space-based layer of the strike anti-missile systems to hit ballistic missiles at early flight stages are particularly concerning. Basically, it's the revival of the 1980s concept.
See, they trying to hit these other nation missiles while they still sitting in silos, man. That ain't, man, listen, the Lord say their missiles is gonna fly out, man. Because he are controlling these missiles, man. Once they get shut off, man, the Spirit of the Lord is on everything, man. The Lord is making his move. This is the Lord striking. That's what they don't understand, man.
Of Star Wars, the militarization of space prompts fears that Washington might be seeking to try and attempt a preemptive strike on its adversaries, like Russia and China. Basically, it raises the same concerns as a sprawling U.S. missile defense system in Europe. And Moscow has long suspected it can easily be tweaked to launch offensive weaponry instead of interceptor missiles. Just like with the Mk-41 launchers, the prospects of using space-based weapons to carry out a preemptive strike on Russia and China. And given the global reach of the space-based weapons, such a strike can be carried out on facilities of any state. It goes on further to report that the Star Wars program, officially known as the Strategic Defense Initiative, was conceived under the rule of President Ronald Reagan. The program was aimed at creating orbital weaponry that would destroy any incoming Soviet missiles while they traveled in space, rendering them effectively obsolete. But with the demise of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War, the program faded away as well. But the idea to weaponize space was dusted off by U.S. President Donald Trump, who created a space force of his own last June. The plans appear to be serious, as the recent U.S. Missile Defense Review has already presented a concept of a space-based interceptor capable of destroying missiles in the boost phase, as well as unveiled plans to deploy additional ground-based interceptor missiles in Alaska. Trump himself announced the publication of the MDR, declaring that space is a new war-fighting domain, with the Space Force leading the way. In addition, Express News is reporting that Russia has been sent a warning after the U.S. Navy unveiled its increased military capabilities and deployed 2 warships into the Mediterranean. John Huntsman, the U.S. ambassador to Russia, stated that when you have 200,000 tons of diplomacy that is cruising in the Mediterranean, this is what I call diplomacy. This is forward deployed diplomacy. Nothing else needs to be said. You have all the confidence you need when you sit down and try to find solutions to the problems that have divided us for many years. One naval officer insisted that our senior leadership has mandated that our Navy become more lethal, more tactically proficient. It's very important in the area of competition that we are in. But Russia's military is also continuing to expand with the addition of 3 new warships and 4 submarines to its fleet, particularly its new nuclear submarine, which is designed to carry devastating underwater nuclear drones. Moscow's development of the nuclear-powered drones has been closely watched in recent years, amid concern that Russia could be adding a doomsday weapon capable of unleashing tidal waves to its arsenal. The Russian Navy said that the submarine, designed to carry Poseidon drones, is set to enter service next year. The Poseidon can target coastal areas with a heavy nuclear weapon, causing a devastating tsunami wave. And Russia isn't the only one developing their military. Photos have been leaked onto the internet, which some fear show China's top secret 11,509 miles per hour hypersonic rocket system aimed at dodging U.S. defenses. Images of the impressive Jiajing #1 rocket has emerged on Chinese media and could rock President Trump's defense chiefs at the Pentagon. The pictures are said to show a prototype missile measuring 28.5 feet from tip to tail and weighing in at nearly 4 tons. It appears equipped with supersonic combustion scramjets, which suck in air at supersonic speeds, leading to a much higher velocity. Scramjets can reach a maximum speed of up to Mach 15, which is more than 15,000 miles per hour. The leaked reports claim the rocket can fly at an altitude of 15 miles. It's also claimed the rocket was successfully launched at a desert area in northwestern China. However, there are some conflicting posts which claim that the rocket is actually a research project, and even one which claims it is a harmless civilian system. The images have emerged as China, Russia, and the U.S. are locked in an arms race to field the first hypersonic weapons ahead of future conflicts. And in the meantime, Reuters is reporting that a French warship passed through the strategic Taiwan Strait this month. A rare voyage
you
by
think
a
China
European
is playing
country
games,
that
man?
is likely to be
And
marked
Russia?
by Washington.
You
That
people
increased tension with Beijing, the passage which was
mistaken,
confirmed by
man.
China, is a sign that U.S. allies are increasingly asserting freedom of navigation in international waterways near China.
China and
it
Russia
could
gonna
open the door
wipe
for
North
other
America
powers,
off the
such as
planet,
Japan
man.
and Australia to consider similar operations. It goes on further to report that 2 officials speaking on condition of anonymity said that a French military vessel carried out a transit in the narrow waterway between China and Taiwan on April 6th. The officials said that as a result of the passage, China notified France it was no longer invited to a naval parade to mark the 70 years since the founding of China's Navy. Warships from India, Australia, and several other nations participated. China stated on Thursday it had lodged stern representations with France for what it called an illegal passage. The defense ministry stated that China's military sent Navy ships in accordance with the law and the rules to identify the French ship and warn it to leave. China's military will stay alert to firmly safeguard China's sovereignty and security. Meanwhile, spokesman for France's military chief of staff declined to comment on the operational mission. Definitely a very tense situation all around between Washington and Moscow, China and Washington, and now France and China. But what is happening in the Middle East? The Jerusalem Post is reporting that Lebanon's defense minister has warned that the Lebanese military would strike Israel's airport if their international airport were struck in a future conflict, stating that if Israel bombards our airport, we will bombard its airport. If it strikes our oil facilities, we will strike its oil facilities. The defense minister made the comments while touring South Lebanon. During his tour, he met with Lebanon's army chief, who briefed him on the situation in the southern region, especially in villages bordering Israel. Disagreement over Israel's ongoing construction of the border wall and Lebanon's plans to explore for offshore oil and gas in disputed maritime waters have elevated tensions between the two countries, which officially remain at war. Israel and Hezbollah fought a deadly 33-day war in 2006, which came to an end under UN Security Council Resolution 1701. But Hezbollah's influence in Lebanon has led senior officials in Israel's defense establishment to warn that Lebanon's army has lost its independence and has become an integral part of Hezbollah's network. The IDF says that cooperation between the LAF and Hezbollah has increased in the past year and has warned that the next war will see Israel target not only military infrastructure, but civilian infrastructure used by Hezbollah. Those are definitely a war of words. And speaking of which, Iran's foreign minister has stated that if the United States seeks to operate in the Hormuz Strait, the Persian Gulf's major trade route, it must first talk to those who defend it, referring to Iran's Revolutionary Guards, which the United States has declared as terrorists. Iran's foreign minister warned Washington against any crazy moves that could harm Iranian security, particularly its ability to transport oil through the strait, while stating that Iran is open for dialogue. We believe that Iran will continue to sell its oil. We will continue to find buyers for our oil, and we will continue to use the Strait of Hormuz as a safe transit passage for the sale of our oil. The foreign minister's warning came days after the Trump administration announced its decision to lift sanction waivers for Iran's 8 biggest oil buyers to continue importing certain volumes of oil despite the U.S. restrictions reimposed last year after Washington left the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Finally, it reports that Washington's renewed push to reduce Iran's oil imports to zero has already sparked resentment in Turkey and China, both previously enjoyed the waivers scheduled to expire by May. Zarif noted that if the White House wants to bring Iran to the negotiating table, it would be wise to drop the threats and try talking to Iran instead.
Man, if these Edomites is sleeping on Iran, man, okay, Iran is the Persians, man, okay, in the scriptures, man, okay, these Edomites sleep on Iran, man, they playing games, man, listen, man, and Trump is backing Iran, man. All these nations is in Ezekiel 38 chapter, man. This is finna be the war in heaven, man. Okay? Which is heaven is talking about here on earth, man. This is the war when it said the Lord in Joel 3rd chapter, man. When he's gathering all these mighty men, all these nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Which is Yehoshaphat, man. These things, these North American Edomites are stupid, man. Okay? They finna be turned to missile food, man.
Stating that we are allergic to pressure. Try the language of respect. It won't kill you. Believe me. So definitely a very tense situation. But I will definitely continue to keep you updated as these reports continue to be developed. I just wanted to bring you guys a quick report today.
And see, none of these, man, tell you that these nations now have become strong, man. They are not weak no more. No one is scared of North America, man. North America is weak, man. They are nothing, man. These nations is not scared of North America. And that's what they fail to realize.
Everyone. It's Dina Calmetta here with CWW7 News. And for today's broadcast, I do have some updates I'd like to bring to you in regards to some events that have occurred late last week into the weekend. And I first would like to take you to this report in regards to Russia and the United States. Reuters is reporting on Thursday, President Trump ordered his administration to prepare a push for a new arms control agreement with Russia and China due to the mounting cost of the 21st century nuclear arms race. The Kremlin aide, in remarks to Russian TV, released on Sunday, said Moscow was ready to hold talks about the subject, stating that firstly what exists already by way of arms control agreements needs to be honored. We are also ready for new ones, but serious negotiations are needed, and unfortunately so far nobody has embarked on any. The Kremlin's aide's words were definitely more upbeat than those of a Kremlin spokesman who on Saturday dismissed Trump's proposals on nuclear arms disarmament as not serious. In fact, stating that nuclear disarmament of Russia, the United States, and China could lead to a real war. Lawmaker Slutsky stated that balance of powers between Moscow and Washington is based on so-called mutual assured destruction. If it won't be the case anymore, there would be a risk of a real war. No more, no less. And with all of that said, just a couple of weeks ago I brought you a report in regards to Russian spy planes flying over Area 51. Well, apparently a Russian military aircraft flying under the Open Skies Treaty has made another observation flight over strategic nuclear and chemical weapons storage facilities in the southwestern United States.
See?
The plane
Here we
flew
go.
over western Texas, New Mexico, and
So in the first video, you had U.S. planes flying over Russia spying. Now you got Russia flying over U.S. spying. Okay? Hey man, these is war. While you people around the world playing games, won by the NFL draft and what's going on with basketball and soccer and baseball and won by these TV shows, North America, hey, is finna be destroyed. The economy is collapsing and your dollars ain't gonna be worth nothing, man. For you people worrying about nothing, man. The same thing they were doing it wrong got you occupied with gladiator fighting, which is number UFC today. They got you occupied with sports. The same thing they did in Rome, man. While the economy was collapsing and war was on the brink, you people was doing stupidness, worrying about nothingness, man. And the same thing is happening now because the Lord say there is nothing new under the sun, man.
Colorado, and it also flew over Fort Bliss, the White Sands Missile Range, the Pueblo Chemical Depot, Kirtland Air Force Base, and Los Alamos National Laboratories, birthplace of the U.S. nuclear program. The plane took off from Rosecrans Air National Guard Base in St. Joseph, Missouri on Thursday afternoon and lasted about 6 hours. But the Russian military has yet to comment on the flight. Flights under the Open Skies Treaty were restarted this year, following a freeze which began in November 2017, which a Pentagon spokesman attributed to tensions between Moscow and Washington. The Open Skies Treaty was signed in 1992 as a confidence-building measure in the post-Cold War period. It has been in force since 2002 and allows participating countries to openly collect information on one another's military forces and activities. But in addition to Russia and the U.S., the treaty covers most NATO members, as well as Belarus, Ukraine, Georgia, Bosnia, Sweden, and Finland. As a rule, Russia and NATO countries carry out flights on a reciprocal basis. I am sure we're going to see much more of these flights in the future, and I will definitely continue to keep you updated. But I would like to move on and bring you a brief update in regards to North Korea. Apparently, the North Korean leader and President Putin met last week. Following their talks on Thursday, President Putin stated that Kim is willing to give up his nuclear weapons, but only if he gets ironclad security guarantees supported by the multinational agreement. But Kim strongly criticized Washington for taking a unilateral attitude in bad faith. He also told the Russian president that the situation on the Korean Peninsula has reached a critical point, and whether tensions resume will entirely depend on the United States' future attitude. North Korea has all along contended that it needs its nuclear arsenal to defend itself against what it sees as U.S. hostility and wants concrete reassurances of its safety, including the removal of the American nuclear threat as an integral part of the denuclearization of the entire Korean Peninsula. President Trump has voiced hope that Putin's involvement could help his efforts to get Kim to abandon his nuclear arsenal. But it could also complicate matters, since Moscow has been critical of sanctions on North Korea and has called on Washington to provide more security guarantees. And it is also being reported by Express News, Sputnik News, and USA Today that North Korea has promised to retaliate after the United States and South Korea held joint Air Force drills on the Korean Peninsula. North Korea stated that wind naturally brings waves, as it condemned military provocations by Washington and South Korea, who started scaled-down military maneuvers on Monday. The North Korean committee stated that South Korean authorities run against the reconciliation process on the Korean Peninsula, and such perfidy greatly disappoints us, since the South Korean authorities, together with the United States, became overt in their military provocations against our republic. There will be a corresponding response from our military. The North Koreans believe the Air Force drills, which also include Australian forces, violates the military agreement during the third summit between South Korean president and the North Korean leader in September. The agreement called for a military commission to enhance mutual trust and establish a zone in the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan, which would be free of military drills. The United States Secretary of Defense and the South Korean Defense Minister previously played down the drills, explaining that they have been downgraded. They were scaled down to reduce tension and support our diplomatic efforts to achieve complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula in a final, fully verified manner. Some very interesting news there in regards to North Korea, and I will continue to follow these reports and bring you updates. But I would like to move on and talk about Iran next. The Times of Israel is reporting that Iran's foreign minister has said that leaving the nuclear treaty is one of the many options they have to retaliate against U.S. sanctions. Last week, Washington announced an end to sanction waivers for buyers of Iranian crude oil. And earlier this month, the U.S. declared Iran's elite Revolutionary Guards a foreign terrorist organization. Zarif stated in remarks to the Iranian reporters in New York, aired by state television, that the Islamic Republic has many options. Leaving the NPT is one of them. He also stated that the country's officials are deliberating. Iran has branded the U.S. sanctions illegal, and Zarif warned on Wednesday that there would be consequences should Iran be barred from selling its oil. Zarif was also interviewed on Fox News on Sunday to discuss the Trump administration's hardline stance against Iran. He stated that Iran was still complying with the 2015 nuclear deal. However, he argued a list of Middle East states alien to the United States has shown an interest in dragging the United States into a conflict. He also added, "I do not believe that President Trump wants to do that. I believe that President Trump ran on a campaign promise of not bringing the United States into another war." He was also quick to emphasize that the United States' effort to pressure Iran to change was doomed to fail. Later in the interview, he stated that he believed that B Team wants to actually push the United States and lure President Trump into a confrontation that he doesn't want. But United States National Security Advisor John Bolton responded to the foreign minister's accusations and dismissed his comments as completely ridiculous, arguing that the foreign minister's remarks were a carefully prepared propaganda script. And Military.com is reporting that Iran's Revolutionary Guard had successfully managed a surveillance flight over a U.S. aircraft carrier. The report included footage, apparently from a Guard drone, that flew over the USS Dwight Eisenhower and another U.S. warship in the Persian Gulf. However, the Iranian news agency did not say when the footage was shot. In recent years, the U.S. Navy has accused Iranian patrol boats of harassing American warships in waterway. Finally, a report said in 2016, similarly took video footage of the nuclear-powered carrier USS Harry Truman while it was in the Persian Gulf region, launching airstrikes and supporting operations against the IS group in Iraq and Syria. It is also being reported that the U.S. Central Command Chief stated that the United States would deploy necessary resources to counter any dangerous actions by Iran. General Kenneth McKenzie stated that we're going to continue to reach out to our partners and friends in the region to ensure that we make common cause against the threat of Iran. I believe we will have the resources necessary to deter Iran from taking actions that will be dangerous. We will be ready to respond effectively. So definitely very high tensions between the United States and Iran. But speaking of tensions, Sputnik News as well as Reuters is reporting that the United States military sent 2 Navy warships through the Taiwan Strait on Sunday as the Pentagon increases the frequency of movement through the strategic waterway despite opposition from China. The U.S. Pacific Fleet stated that the ship's transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. In March, the U.S. reportedly sent 2 naval destroyers through the Taiwan Strait to demonstrate the United States' commitment to the freedom of navigation operations in the region. Mainland China has repeatedly called on the United States to steer clear of the strait over concerns of military support being given to Taiwan. Although the island has been a self-governing nation since 1949, China has continually looked upon Taiwan as a wayward province needing to be brought back into the fold. So very interesting news there. And we have to remember that France just last week also took a cruise in the Taiwan Strait. It makes you wonder who is going to be next. I guess we will have to wait to see what happens. And I will definitely continue to keep you updated. I just wanted to bring you guys a quick report and get you caught up on all these headlines. I'd love to hear from all of you, so please do leave your comments in the comments section. Tell me what you think about what's happening. Also, if you have a free moment, come and visit us.
So, the Lord said that he set up watchmen over Israel to keep watch, man. Because these things that go on every day in the media that most Jake don't watch, that's what we do, man. Keep watch. The Lord said he set up watchmen. Matter of fact, I'm going to read. This is Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 17. And it reads, Also I set watchmen over you, saying, Hearken to the sound of the trumpet, but they say we will not hearken. So the Lord have set up watchmen, man, to keep watch on what's really going on, because Jake don't watch for these things. This is Isaiah 62 verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord Yahweh, keep not silent. So we supposed to be keeping watch, letting you know what's going on. And these things that's playing out, man, this is war and rumors of wars, man. Okay? This thing is serious. This is not a joke, man. War is coming to the shores of North America, man. The time of Jacob's trouble is at hand. And Isaiah 33 and 6 say, Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times, man. Not gold or silver, not your bitcoins, but wisdom and knowledge. So this is another update, man, showing you how close this thing is, man. Okay? Because you got these North American Edomites who's spying on the Russian Edomites, and the Russian Edomites is spying on the North American Edomites. And this thing is finna kick off, man. But guess what? The Russian Edomites is gaining more power than the North American Edomites. Because the North American Edomites, their power is diminishing, man. Okay? It tell you in Isaiah 14 that their pump is brought low, man. Oh, matter of fact, let me read it. Isaiah 14, and I'm going to start at verse 10. And it reads, All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Yes, they North Americans become like the weak nations, like a few weak nations like Argentina or India or Turkey. Okay? They have become like these weaker nations, man. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worms is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So their pomp, their power, man, okay? Their control of the earth is being brought down low to the ground, man. Worms spread under them, meaning they are corrupt, man. They are being ate from the inside, man. Okay? And the same way the Lord had what his name is, Antiochus Epiphanes, man. The Lord had worms eating him from inside out, man. Okay? His flesh was falling from him, man. It's the same thing happening with these Edomites, man. The worms is spread on over them and under them, man. They are being destroyed, man. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7. Let me read verse 3. The pride of that heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, meaning who used to control the entire planet, because through their technology and their democracy and their legislations, hey, the pride of your heart have deceived thee, whose habitation is high. You Edomites, okay? And also because you dwell in the cliff of the rock, so you like these skyscrapers, you like this high status living, but it's talking about your military might, your technology, your power, okay? Who shall bring me down to the ground? Who shall bring you down to the ground? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is on the other nations to bring you North American Edomites down, man. Verse 7, all the men of that confederacy, it say all the men. That means all the nations that was joined to these Edomites, when you go to Psalm 83, it give you a list of the nations that was joined to the Edomites. Okay? Obadiah 1 verse 7. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. To do what? To fight and to lose the battle. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. So you think Putin is trying to get Kim Jong-un to come to the table? So you can have to know, man, they are deceiving you Edomites, man. The Russian Edomites is deceiving you North American Edomites, man. It say, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. It say, and prevail. This is a future judgment, man. This is future prophecy, man. Letting you know these other nations will destroy you North American Edomites, man. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. Meaning, because all these nations sell their merchandise. So China is the biggest selling merchandise in North America, man. And they have deceived you Edomites over here. There is no understanding in him. You North American Edomites don't understand a thing what's going on. You don't understand what the Spirit of the Lord got going on. That's what the Lord say. He says this. Verse 6. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Through the scriptures, man. Through the spirit of the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. We understand how these things are searched out. The hidden things of Esau. Because the Lord put the spirit on his elect men, starting apostles and elders, a great millstone, to break these things down through the Holy Spirit, man. Okay? That's how we know, man. Because according to you Edomites, y'all don't believe these scriptures. Y'all believe in science. But these scriptures tell us that you North American Edomites, you Babylon the Great Edomites, you mystery Babylon Edomites, you virgin of daughter of Babylon Edomites will be destroyed by Gog and Magog, by the Persians, and all the other nations. That's in Ezekiel 38 chapter, man. This is future prophecy, man. It said, they that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Okay? It didn't say prevailed not, it say and prevailed against thee. That's why Jeremiah 50 say, the Lord called all the nations round about and shoot your arrows at her for the wickedness and abominations of Babylon, man. This is prophecy. And you Edomites, you North American Edomites cannot upset prophecy, man. No way, shape, or form. And your Trump's favorite place, Benjamin Net not a Jew, Israel gonna be destroyed too, man. Okay? It's gonna be wiped off, man. It gotta be cleaned too, because over there in Pink Tel Aviv, they having gay parades every year, man. And so Lord willing, this is edifying. Gotta give our praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Warash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone, who well, who teach well, and the citizens salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. Hey man, this is wars and rumors of wars, man. Wake up, man. Okay? Flee out of Mr. Babylon. Shalom.